Art on Demand is a production of the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County, brought to you with support from Alys Beach, 30A.com, and Florida Department of State, Division of Cultural Affairs. While these events are provided at no cost to you, we do ask that you donate what you can by visiting our website, culturalartsalliance.com, in order to help the CAA continue to foster creativity, employ artists, and bring you entertainment, education, and engagement through Art on Demand. We hope you love this virtual event.
Happy holidays and welcome to another episode of Art on Demand produced by the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County. I'm Grove Fisher and I'm one of the owners of Fisher's Flowers. And we're a local shop here in town who works on weddings in every community along 30A, and we specialize in large festival events such as the 30A Songwriters and all the beautiful things that this community puts together for us to enjoy. I'm here today because I want to put together a very simple arrangement that anybody can do. It's the holidays, and so I have gone out literally and foraged in my own backyard and off of Christmas tree lots to come up with some beautiful things that you too can use in your own home to create something nice for your space. This is an old and kind of torn up piece of birchwood box that I used in weddings from years past. And I thought today she's going to get a little bit of a facelift. So in order to make her more holiday, I thought I have some scrap ribbon from last year. So we're just going to tie her on here and give her a little bit of a dress up. Some people don't like to tie bows, and that's fine. If you don't want to do that, you can just cut the square and double tape it down or staple it in there or whatever you want to do. I don't mind a bow, so I'm going to tie a bow for it. This ribbon is wired ribbon, and I encourage you to use wired ribbon if you do bow, because it really kind of hides your sins and allows you to make the bow pretty without having to be able to tie one nicely. My mom can tie a bow out of anything. I cannot. So this allows you to do so. Voila, a holiday birchwood box. Now, I also use Oasis when I make arrangements because I think it makes it a little bit easier. It makes it so that the stem of the flower that you put in stays where you put it. You don't have to be a seasoned or practiced florist in order to use Oasis. It's really, really good for people who just want to do it for fun. So I have a liner in here because the birchwood will leak. So I have the Oasis and the liner, and I'm just going to fill it up with a little water. The Oasis will drink it up. It's kind of like magic. And once that Oasis has soaked up all the water, it'll allow you to pour more water into the vessel itself. And remember that Oasis has a little bit of flower food, so it'll extend the life of your plants, your cut flowers. So, have water in here. Now, I really did go to the Christmas tree lot and ask the gentleman if I could have some of their cuttings. He was like, for sure, take them. So I have a few. It's two different varieties of evergreen. And then I have some beautiful cedar, which is really kind of my favorite. And then this is a longleaf pine from my friend's backyard. So really and truly just picked up and foraged. So when you're working on an arrangement, you need to think about where you're going to put it. If you're going to put it on the center of a table, you want it to have kind of a 360 look to it so that no matter where you sit at the table, it'll be pretty. If you're going to put it on a sideboard in your home and it's going to be up against a wall, then you really only need to make this part pretty. So just think about where you're going to put it and where you want it to go, and then you'll be able to just make the design happen, and it won't take as many flowers if you're just going to do one half of it. So to begin with our arrangement, I think it's easiest if you start with the biggest pieces, sort of frame out the structure, if you will. So I'm going to use some of these larger pieces of the Christmas tree. I don't know what variety it is, so we're just going to call it Christmas tree. And I want this piece to actually go on a table, so I want to try to create a 360 for this. So that means I want flowers on every side. It smells so good. That's another thing about Christmas arrangements, is they're aromatics for your home, which is a bonus. I like to create my own homemade potpourri. So I take sometimes greenery cuttings like this, and I'll take some orange peels, some cinnamon sticks, and allspice, put them in a little bit of water on my stove, let them boil up, and it smells the whole house up. It smells beautiful. You can do that too. This is the cedar. Some people are allergic to cedar, so you might want to think twice about using it, but if you're not, I think it's a really beautiful tender leaf that goes really nicely in holiday arrangements. So now I'm just going to bring some of the arrangement down. One thing is when you work with a lot of holiday greenery, it's got a lot of sap in its stem and it will make your hands real sticky. So sometimes it's smart to use gloves. I just live with it, but my hands are forever sticky the whole holiday season. But they smell good. All right, so I have, with one more piece, I'll have a nice sort of 360 base on this arrangement. Okay, so you can sort of see all the way around. There's movement, depth, okay? So now that we have our greenery in place, I'm gonna take a little Yopon holly. This is cut from my neighbor's yard. She doesn't know it yet, but thank you very much, Miss Mangum, for the holly. And I just like the color. I like the structure, and I think it says Christmas to me for sure. So I'll stick that in there. Now I have some very simple flowers. I picked these up at Whole Foods. I did that on purpose because I want you to be able to do the same at home, and you won't always have the opportunity to call a wholesale florist and get your flowers. So if you go to your Whole Foods, this is what's there right now. So I liked the red. I thought it was holiday. I also like flowers that last a long time. Roses are famous for lasting a long time. If you give them a nice fresh cut and you take their leaves off of them, they'll be with you for a while. So I'm going to start adding a little color to this arrangement so that I start to feel a little more holiday about it. And these are just traditional freedom roses is what they're called. A couple more. And tulips are one of my favorite flowers. I think a lot of people think spring when they see tulips. And I do too, but these are red, so they say holiday to me. What I love about a tulip is their motion. They look like art all in of itself. Just that is beautiful, right? So I like to take the form of the flower, what it wants to do naturally, and use it to my advantage. And I'll just have it kind of gently spill right out of this arrangement and give me some color. Beautiful. And that oasis is gripping that and holding it for me. If you didn't have it, you might have a harder time placing it. So that's why the oasis is a little bit helpful. Not necessary, but it's helpful. I like things to be in couples sometimes. So I'm going to give this guy a friend. All right. And now I found some pine cones. Living in Florida, you know that they're everywhere in everyone's yard, side yard, backyard. Some people collect them, some people burn them. I like to put them in arrangements. So these are actually from my assistant's backyard, and then these are from my backyard. Sometimes nature puts them on a stick for you, which is really helpful. Sometimes he doesn't. It doesn't, she doesn't. So we have this, and I'm gonna show you a little quick sort of cheat way to get your pine cone into your arrangement without just falling out. So if you want to take, that's a little big, so I'm going to grab this guy. And these are actually available in any kind of, if you go to a florist wholesale shop, or even the craft aisle at Walmart might even have it, or Home Depot, something along, Home Goods might have it. So you'll just take the end of the stick, it's got a pre-wire on it. If you want to just stick it at the bottom of your pine cone like it would be a stick, and just wrap that wire into the needles. It'll grip it on there. You'll twist that wire until it's tight, and then you have a little pine cone on a stick, which is real life, and that does happen. So you'll take your pine cone on your stick, and then you can just use that stick as if you would a stem and place it down into your arrangement. So I've pre-done a couple because I'd like to have more than one, and this stick is too long for where I want to put it, no problem. Cut it just like you would a stem. Nice. Actually want this guy to go this way. I'd like to use something that's called Plumosa Fern. It's one of my favorite pieces of greenery. It grows in the Pacific Northwest, so it's not something that you're readily going to get here, but it is fern gully on a stem. I mean, it's so beautiful and light, and I think it makes all arrangements, it elevates them. I think it's beautiful. So you can ask your local wholesaler if they have any Plumosa Fern. But I just love, it's usually shaped this way, so it gives you a little bit of a nice sort of fall drip feeling to an arrangement instead of it being too structured, which I like. Another piece here in the front. I'm gonna trim the end of this one a little bit. Okay. See how sweet that is? So tender. It's lovely and friendly. This is one of my favorite flowers. We often use it in weddings in lieu of baby's breath. And in a lot of cases, baby's breath has its own very distinct vibe. And to some people, it's a little bit older fashioned. And so we use this quite a bit. It's called wax flower. It comes in white, comes in beautiful lavender, sometimes hot pinks. But it's a really sweet, almost Christmassy looking flower, but you can get it year round. It makes beautiful halos. It lasts a really long time. So if you just want to put some in a vase of water and put it by your bed, you can. So I'm going to put it in here because I think it lends itself to a little bit of that Christmassy feel, and I want to start picking up some white. This arrangement's getting a little dark and dense. I want to lighten it up a little bit. So we're going to put in a little bit of wax flower. And again, I want this to feel very natural. I don't want it to feel too stuffy. In my home, the way that my husband and I have chosen to design it, it's really sort of cabin relaxed feel. And so I want people to come in and have it match my own aesthetic in my home. But if your home is a little bit more formal, you might want to do a little bit more structured in your arrangement. These are probably top 3 favorite flowers of mine. This is the ranunculus. Again, a year-round flower, but sometimes they come in the spring and they're huge. The heads of these will be, about 4 inches across. But most of the time they're like this, and they come in almost every color of the rainbow. They're beautiful. They look like just really feminine sweetness to me. So I like to use them all the time, but I think they'll be really pretty in this arrangement as well. Again, using that white to sort of lighten up the arrangement and still keep that holiday feel going on. You can see that little pop of white just starts to brighten it up. I'm going to spin it around so I can take a look at the whole arrangement and see if I'm missing anything anywhere. I think it's looking pretty good. You could do some things like add cinnamon sticks too if you want it. I think they're beautiful, and of course you're going to add to the aromatics of your plant or of your arrangement. I have here some just very traditional eucalyptus, and this smells wonderful to me. Some people, again, can't stand it, so don't use it if you don't like it, but if you do, I think it's really nice, and it adds a nice structural component to arrangements. It's going to give a little bit of height and a little bit of architectural texture to it. One thing, you can just use your hands and you just pinch the stem and you can just pull the leaves right off to give yourself a clean stem. But again, very sticky, and it'll make your hands sticky for days to come. Right now, with the pandemic happening, hand sanitizer gets the sticky off, so there's a little bit of a bonus there. The alcohol-based ones do. And it smells so good, I wish you could smell it. It smells like Christmas and church, weirdly. I think it's that eucalyptus. And here you have it, a simple, sweet, mostly foraged, some from the neighbors' yards, some from my yard, and some from my local grocery store. And I think it's lovely. I think it's gonna be a really sweet little piece to put on my table. It'll last a long time as long as I keep that oasis wet. It'll last a long while, and I'll be able to enjoy it. So I hope that you too are inspired to do something like this. Go to your backyard, go to your grocery store, put together something beautiful and make yourself happy. So if you liked this episode and you'd like to see more, please visit our website, theculturalartsalliance.com, and click on donate. Thank you, and happy holidays.
Thank you for experiencing this episode of Art on Demand, presented by the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County, with support from Alys Beach, 30A.com, and Florida Department of State, Division of Cultural Affairs. We hope you explored your creativity and learned something new today. As the creative core of Walton County, the Cultural Arts Alliance of Walton County offers support, connection, and access opportunities for all forms of art, every variety of maker, all levels of learners, and especially art lovers. Through performance, funding, and educational programs, the 501c3 organization directly connects the people of Walton County with the broader view, the critical exploration, and the answers only the arts have the power to provide. If you loved this episode, please visit culturalartsalliance.com and click the donate button to give what you can to help the CAA continue to bring you art on demand. And stay tuned for our next virtual event coming soon.